More CCL, the last Playday, everybody! It is Playday number 7 for the CCL, the final Playday in the season before we're heading into the playoffs. And the North American Heroes of the Storm League continues with Chili Mountain going up against Crowd Control. Chili Mountain just comes off their first victory in this Heroes of the Storm tournament, so good luck to them trying to lock a second one in. They go up against the strong contender. They go up against Crowd Control, who still hold on to that number 1 spot in the standings. But let's introduce our players first. This is the Heroes of the Storm Best of 5 series. On the left side, the blue team with Chimera on Stukov. We got Mako on Sylvanas, Dartmok on Urel, Backhold on Muradin, and Gia on Junkrat. And on the right side of the map, X-Ray on Valfurion, Dequaza on Deathwing, we got Lauba on ETC, Rutsu on Diva, and Dino is playing Cassia in this first game. So as far as Heroes of the Storm maps go, Sky Temple has always been one where the focus on destroying structures is of course incredibly important, since the objective attacks them directly, so anything that you can take down with a good Sylvanas push, for example, will add up in the later stages and give you the upper hand. As I said before, last Playday was the first time in this Heroes of the Storm event that Chili Mountain won a series. And won a map, by the way. They had 16 map losses in a row, which was absolutely insane. So right now they're trying to follow up on that, and they get the first kill in the game. Nicely done. On map number 1, the first blood for Chili Mountain, so that's already a good opening. Keep in mind, they are the underdogs here, not only because they've won only a single match in the CCL up to this point, but at the same time it's also Crowd Control that they go up against, the number 1 in the standings. Now, as usual, when we're heading into the CCL, a little caveat here that all of these games are played out on the North American Heroes of the Storm server, on NA Central to be exact, and that of course means that if you're a player from Europe, or if you're a Korean Heroes of the Storm player, that you will play with a delay here, and that can be quite a significant one. Normally it ranges on an average of 120 to 150, which is on this level of play pretty significant. I mean, if you guys watch Summit Madness, for example, you will have noted that some players play very different heroes there, not only because of the bans. And if they lock some of the same heroes in, they shift their builds because they can, on the NA server, not play the usual style sometimes that they prefer on their home server, which is true for the Europeans and for the Koreans. But either way, the fight obviously is on, and in this particular series we have a ton of European players. This is actually one of those setups where I was thinking to myself, doesn't it even make sense for them to just play these games out on the EU server just because you have a better quality then? But, I mean, either way. Right now, the first thing that we actually have is the push up at the top. Objective isn't up yet. Junkrat is still sitting down at the bottom of the map, pushing this out a little bit. We got the block party for ETC on level 1. As far as builds go, Broccoli's in lockdown against Urel. And another kill, but this time against Chili Mountain. Yeah, got a little bit too chilly for the goat. First she turned blue and then she died. We got also Stormbolt talents claimed. The Sledgehammer is in, and we have the perfect storm here. So again, the idea is to get the baseline quest completed very quickly and get some structural damage for the late game in as well. Stacks are coming through for Cassia. Dino, of course, loves the hero. Definitely something that he can play around with here. And he is already starting to take this entire wall apart with his teammates at the top lane. They have a 4-man that is just brushing through this as Diva is rotating between the mid and the bot lane and soaks the experience for Crowd Control. So with that, we have now shrines up. And since they are taking the top shrine, this means that this keep, or this fort, is pretty much gone. I mean, unless they fight back somehow, this thing is not going to make it. Now, Rutsu, as I said, he's still rotating. At the same time now, rotation towards the top. They're trying to go for Dequaza, but the Mighty Dragon is still looking good. Well, the Mighty Chicken, again, looks like a plucked chicken with that skin. I'm still not really a fan of that. That's what it is. And of course, fort is down. That's all thanks to the initial push at the beginning. If you set a push up like this, you will be able to take it down. Compare that to what's happening in the middle of the map. There's another couple of shots fired, of course, but this fort is still in play, which means no catapult pressure and still decent vision on the mid lane for Crowd Control as they're trying to play this one out. Now, we still have with Dark Chimera and Backhold the vision claimed through the watchtower. So Dequaza is now starting to come in an attempt. But, yep, Lauba is also present. Misses the slide lockdown against Marker, though. If he gets the power slide connected here, they might have an opportunity to take Sylvanas down. But as it happens, that's not quite the case. Now we are now on level 7 talents for both teams, which also gives us the heavy impact. We have in regards to that the Lost Soul and growing infestation, maybe a little bit more important. So Stukov really working on that CC that he has and getting those silences in during the game. The entire setup in terms of as far as compositions go, I mean, it's a little bit out there. I'm a bit surprised that we don't have more synergy on some of those setups for kills potentially. Stormbolt into a lurking arm is always kind of nice, but you need to have good follow-up damage after it. We got Junkrat and Sylvana, so those two can pack a punch, but when it comes to real quick burst damage, other heroes are oftentimes just a bit better. Either way, experience is fairly even. Chili Mountain is doing what they can right now, trying to still control the bottom lane as much as possible. Not losing that wall is absolute key, because you want to ensure that you have your own fountain still up. And they might get that kill against Malfurion, but they couldn't. Lauber is helping the old geezer out, so Malfurion is still alive. Berghold is rushing away. Make is sitting tight, and, well, here comes the temple activation. Right there, single temple down at the bottom of the map. And that's where the party is really going to start, as both of the teams are now also looking towards their level 10 abilities. Time to get the Heroes of the Storm talents in. Okay, there we go. Heroic abilities, not Heroes of the Storm talents. These are all Heroes of the Storm talents. I was like, wait a second, that sounded wrong. What did I just say? So yeah, heroic abilities, of course. Avatar, we got the mind control. Nothing crazy. We still have Valkyrie though, so they could go from Valkyrie into Malfurion lockdown, and even his ult could be thrown out here. There's already the Pierce, thanks to the completed baseline quest. Lauber gets mind controlled and sucked in, and that's a kill against ETC. They're trying to follow up, of course, with a counter kill, but so far that didn't happen. Yeah, the Chimera is on the move back. Slappity slap. Not really successful against the big chicken, and that's the end of Stukov. They're zoning out the rest of the blue team too with the explosion. And this is still a fight that could be won by crowd control. They lost initially one of their heroes, but now they're doing just much better. And they're in a position where they can also, as you can see, take the shots again. And that, technically at least, could result in a situation where the blue team is losing another fort over here. So, gotta be a little bit careful with that. They are already behind in structures, so falling even further behind would definitely be a bad spot for them to be in right now. Berghold, he wants to at least contest it a little bit. There's only Dino here, Deathwing already pieced out, and Berghold can lock in some additional shots, so that saves the fort. So they get the fountain destroyed down here, so there's at least that happening. Still the rotation of divas. She's locking the experience in for the team. Decent stacks, by the way, on Chili Mountain's Muradin for the level 1 quest. Perfect Storm is already sitting at 20, so if he continues that, he will be able to get some serious damage to structures and also camps. So there's a lot that he can do with this. And talking camps, both teams are busy getting their Bruiser camp, trying to get them to the top lane as fast as you can. Boss is obviously still up too, so that's another one that they have to keep an eye on as the game continues. It's actually kind of crazy if you think about it. Dino on Cassia has only 1 stack more than Muradin on his level 1. That's a little bit nuts. That just shows what a great job Muradin has done so far in trying to keep his teammates ahead on that. So yeah, not bad at all. But well, here comes the setup, the Valkyrie that we highlighted a bit earlier, and that's a kill. Junkrat is down, he just got junked, and that's kill number 3 for crowd control. And an extra talent in their hands. Siege Giants colliding at the bottom of the map. Alright, now the opportunity maybe to, as 13 versus 13 is in, to take down the fort. Should be an easy one for them. Minion wave comes in, they got Broccoli to soak some of the damage. And that's the end of that. The counter pressure with Sylvanas is of course always possible, and rotating around your opponent has been a true and tried strategy in Heroes of the Storm for a long time. You don't necessarily have to always take and win team fights. You can also get an advantage by simply pushing where your opponent isn't, and taking structures down is one of the main objectives, not only in the game but on this map in particular for reasons explained earlier. But here we go. It's a half a level lead that we're now seeing for crowd control. Down at the bottom of the map and up at the top, that's where the next shrine is going to spawn, and you always have to keep an eye on that boss as well. If your opponent moves in and starts to claim that, you can't afford to let that go. Even 9 minutes into the game, it's quite impactful. So bot lane, there we go. First one is taken, up at the top. The Space Goat is doing her thing as well. And yep, so far so good. Main fight seems to actually be happening at the bottom of the map on the other hand, so we are definitely going to keep an eye on that. Yeah, at the top, maybe the fort is going to fall. I guess outside of that, we shouldn't really expect too much to happen. But down here, they go for Mirrodin, back hold. Yeah, pops the avatar and gets out. Top side, the pressure is still there, and Deathwing is trying to defend as much as he can. But the fort is going to fall. Down here, they're locking the Dwarf down again. The Mosh Pit for the party, and even the Malfurion ult. They also set up the Valkyrie over here. They really locked him down with everything they had. I mean, even if he would have been able to jump out, they would have gotten him. And now, of course, with the tank missing, they have an opportunity to go for the boss crowd control. They're starting to take this. They're starting to take a bit of a lead here. They have taken down every single fort already. They still have one standing, so they're slightly ahead in structures. But that boss alone and a good push would allow them to push for the keep at the bottom of the map. So there's a couple of real nice tools that they currently have in their quiver that they could use. Tools in the tool belt, arrows in the quiver, mixing metaphors, new memes created. Like hot butter through cheese, baby. Yeah, that's how we're doing here. But either way, damage output, just have a bit of a look at that now that the 16 talents are in. 16,000 for that. You can really tell it's not really a game where there's like tons of fight. We got 6 kills, which is nothing. But there's not really a lot of sustained fights that we've seen so far. They're still trying to push down here at the bottom of the map and getting a little bit more action going. But I don't really think they can do too much. Going through the wall alone would already be a win, I suppose. And taking maybe the fountain down, I don't really think they can do much more than that. Unless, of course, they can set something up with a good older Malfurion too. But the mind control against Cassia shut that down easily. Mirrodin jumps out. Riptire pushes them back even further. And Cassia is down as the Space Goat dove into the back line, trying to obliterate them and locking in the kill against Cassia here. Yeah, so nicely done. Now 2 camps are up on the map and maybe an opportunity for Chili Mountain to bring it back. Despite the fact that they're behind, we still gotta admit that they play way better than they did in previous weeks. They kind of turned it around last week, as I explained initially. But of course, that doesn't really mean that you're gonna get anywhere. They're still last in the standings, and unless there's a bit of a miracle happening, this is not gonna change anytime soon either. So something to also point out here. Now, down here, still a little bit of an attack happening, as we see, obviously, Siege Giants now claimed all over the place. Yeah, and talking about Siege Giants, gonna start pushing the bot lane with the 5-man back on the map. Crowd control needs to send someone down here to defend it, and it's gonna be Deathwing and Cassia taking care of that. Another camp at the top. Pretty much everybody's just waiting for the next objective. There's an advantage in structure still for crowd control. It's not a mad advantage, but it's there. They took down the wall at the bottom. They put some damage onto the keep. So if they can lock in at the bottom shrine, that would be fantastic for them. The bottom temple would then fire straight against that particular keep and take it down for sure. So that's why we're seeing everybody on the red team currently centering a little bit farther down towards the bottom of the map and not gravitating towards the middle. Urel is even ignoring that temple too. It's simply really... I mean, again, it's all about the bottom keep right now. And so far, the red team is just trying to play it slow. And they are nearly succeeding here. The shots are fired. Big fight, big mosh, big kills. It's a triple, baby. As they take 3 heroes down. That's going to be the end of the bottom keep for sure. Check this one out. Big mosh pit. Deathwing flying in. They're coming through for the kills. And that was a mad combo that they just set up there. And they're trying to go for the core with it. And why wouldn't they? As only 2 heroes that are still on the map. They don't even have to go for that bottom temple anymore. If they can go for the core right now, they don't have to bother with the remaining keeps. Bakul is trying to slow them down as much as he can, but the shield is already falling, and this is not really looking too good. Sylvanas is still trying to fight, but that's another 10 seconds until the remaining heroes come back, and as you can tell, that core is not looking too sexy. That's a kill against Mirrodin, and that should have sealed the deal just here. Yep, those tornadoes throwing the ragdoll around a little bit. Even a kill against Sylvanas, but that is game. Game number 1, Crown Control takes the victory against Chili Mountain on the first map of our Heroes of the Storm series. Nicely done and well played. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2, crowd control is in the lead. The favorite has taken map number 1, locked in a victory on our first map in the Heroes of the Storm series. Now on the left side, we got on Dragonshire, Chimera on Brightwing, Make on Tychus, Darkmook on Diva, Backhult is playing Jojo, and Gia is playing Chromie in this game. Whereas on the right side of the map, Dainu on Falstad. We got a little bit of a wild one here. I mean, X-Ray is playing Karazim. We got Rutzo and Zagara. That's something that we've seen one or twice now by a couple of other players too. Very, very limited success. Laub on Murden and Dequaza on Urel. So, let's go and let's see who takes map number 2. Let's find out if Chili Mountain can bring it back slowly, tie the series up and bring us into game number 3, or if crowd control establish the 2-0 lead over their opponent here. Now, Zagara obviously can provide a lot of vision to you. She can also push really, really hard. She's pretty good on a lot of those situations. The problem that she has, and which is why she is very big oddity in the meta, is she doesn't really have a good escape. She is incredibly squishy. If there's coordinated attacks towards her, you can easily take her down. Any stun that hits her that sees a follow-up normally results in Zagara being eliminated. So, yeah, that's a huge one. We have Falstad going into the Season Marksman here, as is a level 1 talent, and already starting to get some damage in against Dark Chimera. Now, Falstad is the one who could technically fly a couple of times up to the top lane in order to help Urel out and put some pressure onto Diva, so that's definitely possible for them. But let's see how this is gonna work out at this point. The thing with the, honestly, one of the big problems that you sometimes have with leagues in general and having such a, a system than the one that we are seeing right now, is that for a lot of the teams, when you're heading into the end of season matches and the last playday, the results don't really matter too much anymore. And that is a problem that right now Chili Mountain is facing. So even if Chili Mountain wins this series with a 3-0, which is obviously not possible anymore, they're still last. Nothing can change for them. Like, literally nothing. Granite Gaming is not in a spot where they're gonna have any problems, so that's not happening. And it's a bit of an awkward situation, because you play a game and you know that there's not really a whole lot that can happen. Even if Granite Gaming, who are currently 7th in the standing, loses their own series without taking a map, and Chili Mountain wins here without losing one, which obviously isn't possible anymore. But even in the best case scenario, the standings don't change. It's still going to be Chili Mountain on the last spot and Granite Gaming in well, ahead of them. So that makes this a bit awkward. I suppose that the blue team at least wants to still win this, because obviously it's one of those setups where you're saying like, hey, we didn't really do anything the entire season. We couldn't really win a lot of matches. So now let's prove ourselves against the competitor here and take them down. So I'm not taking things down. Jojo got taken down here. And try to just like show that we're better than this, and that at least heading into maybe potential playoffs is a bit of a force to be reckoned with, but nothing of that is really going on here. But either way, hammer gains are now in for Falstad, and yeah, crowd control is in a bit of a similar situation, I'd say. As long as they're taking it here, they're going to be Gucci, so they're already heavily ahead in the map score. So they find themselves in a much more relaxed position, where they can also just play some styles that they normally maybe even wouldn't. So that's a Zagara pick, something that we've seen teams experiment with, something that can be successful, especially since there's no mobile hero on the other side. But also take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, what they're playing, because again, you don't know exactly if they just felt that in this situation they could use it because of what I just talked about. Now, if they can take the fountain down, that would be pretty awesome. So they are failing to do that. They might even lose Urel here, and yeah, oh shit! What? Haha, the big escape of the. So much for that grenade, and that's the end of her. I was just about to say, fantastic escape right here, but nope, didn't happen. Now Dino obviously going straight into Boomerang on level 7. Normal build for him. Bit of auto attack focus to make sure that he has the lane sustain, gets the stacks together, and then for the quicker farming and for the additional global value, he goes for Boomerang. Has now much more wave here and a bit on point damage that he can use whenever. So yeah, good for him. And they are still looking at a setup where they are even in kills with the opponent. At the bottom of the map, Falstad has to be very careful. Oh my god, exactly for that reason. Yeah, very careful, because if he gets hit by a Sand Blast, then he is dead. And that is exactly what happened here. So, goodbye, Falstad. Finally a little bit of control on those shrines by Chili Mountain, but they cannot get the objective. There's still 2 heroes in the middle of the map that prevent that. X-Ray, he's not going to have a problem jumping out there. That was a bit of a weird time lapse, because at the end of the day, he is still in a position where he has another dash available that he can use and then simply jump out. Now, tie-ups against Zagara, that would be a bit of a different story. That could all of a sudden lead you to another quick kill, and maybe a bit more. The Quasar is still sitting at the top with his Urel play. We have in the middle the 2 tanks going up against each other. 16 stacks on the baseline, 10 on the level 1 for Muradin. The camp is now taken, and that is going to increase the pressure at the top lane significantly. So here's an opportunity to maybe take that wall down, especially since they're already putting pressure on Darkmook himself and push him back. Okay. Down at the bottom of the map, what do we get here? Chimera and Gia both sitting tight, holding on to at least one of the bell towers, pushing this back out a bit. Fight in the middle. They were trying to make a play for Marker, but couldn't quite lock him down. But the situation topside is still ongoing. The camp is pushing in. They have 2 heroes that are starting to push this aggressively. And that could be the end of the wall. It's also the end of Falstad again, though. The Berg gets plucked and back into the KFC basket. Down at the bottom of the map, Zagara is taken just as she drops the maw. Muradin hits a siege giant instead of the fake dragon. And Gnomi is trying to get away, plays around with the time trap over here that Muradin knows about. But Gia is able to get away. Rides away on the pleb horse. And now Muradin has to try and reclaim so that the opponent's team doesn't get a Dragonite. But guess what? That's Marker in the middle, but topside, the Quasar was able to deny to them. Yeah, nicely done. Now down here, there's still Muradin attempting to do whatever he can to prevent that from happening. But with Marker in the middle now going up against Dino, it's unlikely that he can lock this one in. Zagara is joining the Dwarf at the bot lane, and all of a sudden we have an even battle between the 2 teams here. That changes quickly as Muradin gets some company. Brightwing globaled in, Tyke is moved from the mid lane, and that's a dead Dwarf. And even more pressure against Rutsu. Just as Falstad is hoping for maybe another kill. X-Ray! No, he did all the work and then he gets attacked here. Oh, that just feels bad. 7-sided strike, he zips out, but they lose the siege giants. He was sitting there for like an eternity trying to battle it out. And now it's 5 kills against 1. Chili Mountain is doing a great job in game number 2. Much, much better than what we saw in game number 1. So yeah, very, very good job by them here. Up at the mid lane. Okay, still Falstad guarding all of this. He's at 15 stacks on his level 1. It's nothing insane yet. Of course, he wants to have the activatable. We're only 7.5 minutes in. I mean, he's still getting the minion waves here. If he could rotate a bit more freely, that would speed the entire process up, of course. Talking about stacks and progress, we have Muradin currently sitting at 20, so he's getting a bit closer to the quest completion. But they're struggling a bit in the early game. They're not too far behind in experience, though, and they haven't lost the Dragonite yet either, so that's nice. And they're still looking to see if they can maybe make a play here. But Bergkult is now coming in, looking for a good Blessed Shield here. He uses it, Blessed Shield is out. Karazim, 7-sided, he needs a target, and he zips out, zips away, but he still falls. Brightwing taking him, and now the Maw against 2. Can they follow up? No Stormbolt just yet. Quest not even completed for Lauber. They're suffering. There's a level 13 talent advantage, 6 kills against 1. Up at the top, Urel has to also jump out because she's up against 2 now that Brightwing shifted onto the top lane. That means that, well, Brightwing is missing at the bottom of the map, and with Falstad flying in, maybe now finally an advantage for the red team. Not quite though. Another kill. Zagara is dead again, highlighting once more what the problem with the Zagara in your composition is. She is just simply too squishy. And that is a massive issue, even if you're not going up against a mobile assassin on the other side. So now the top fountain is gone. That takes the lane sustain away. There's the first Dragonite. And Chili Mountain is making work. They're doing real work here. Yeah, they're coming now in with a push at the bot lane. trying to take this one apart. We have the Giant Killer in with the level 13 talents for Falstad. Sixth Sense is in for Karazim. And it's time to take the structures down. There's a lot of global rotations on the map here. They're dropping even the 7-sided, trying to burn this as quickly as they can. And it might save them the fort. It honestly might save them the fort here, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. I thought that this one would go down 100%, but yeah, they're really committed and to the defense, and they made it work. So that Dragonite is just a little bit too weak. It's too early in the game, 9 minutes and 30 in, and it didn't do enough. So now we have a level advantage for Chili Mountain. Damage output is at 18,000 for Falstad and 22,000 for Tigers. Hello, Jojo. Careful. X-Ray wanted to jump after and get the kill, but couldn't quite make it happen. But oh, this is getting... they're not out of it yet. Without it yet, I mean that Chili Mountain hasn't really won this game yet. Obviously, they want to tie the series. But, yep, it is getting a little bit spicy right now. Because there's still a chance to bring this back as long as you don't have to fight against level 16 talents. 62,000 siege damage against 80,000. Diva is doing a great job. Camps are taken by both teams now. The Siege Giant camp here hasn't been claimed yet, but they just took their own Bruiser camp. The red team is still busy at their own. And Muradin is still guarding a bit down here to see what's happening with the Bruiser camp. The Siege Giant camp on the other side. But now the top lane is something to watch out for, especially since Brightwing is going to be attacked. Brightwing! That's a dead... Yep, that's a dead Fruit Fly. The Fruit Fly is down. Nice gank. Triple on Brightwing, and that's the end of that. Support is down, and all of a sudden, 16 talents might be in your hands, but they're not really doing a whole lot for you because you had a numeric disadvantage. You won't be able to push into it. So now we have the Cleansing Touch. That's a huge one. Muradin has the Dwarf launch. And they can start to make their plays. Yep, they're starting to jump in for another potential kill. They want, of course, also to take down the fort here. But if they can get a kill, that would be great. 7-sided strike against Darkmok. They're trying to break the mech. And they cannot quite make that work. But Zagara is now moving slowly in as well. Rutsu is still trying to control the map with vision, setting 1-2 more up after another. At the bot lane, we've seen a bit of damage, but we haven't really seen this wall destroyed or anything, so not really that much possible for them right now. It's a bit of a back and forth. I mean, the kill count is heavily in favor of Chili Mountain, but if you look at experience, there's hardly a difference. So it's pretty impressive that crowd control is staying this close, and it's mainly through the minion experience advantage. They're just doing a much better job, as you can see here on the panel, on the minion experience and soaking the lanes. The double maw at the bottom of the map. Harazim jumped in. Muck is about to go down. They still want to take the camp. Muck is dead. Tyke is eliminated. Jojo has fallen too, and they are hoping for more, but even the double kill alone should give them a huge lead now. They can push this with the Bruiser camp. The wall is about to fall, and crowd control is starting to set themselves up for a really good mid-game here. Even late game. I mean, honestly, they're going to the top. If they get the kill here against Darkmok, that would be a huge problem. Falstad is trying to make sure that they can get a Dragonite now, and even without it, they're already destroying structures. They're taking the bot lane wall apart. Falstad is now up at the top, gets the second shrine, and Quasar can start to go for the channel here. Alright, they're gonna get a Dragonite, and they're already attacking the top lane too. So this is starting to look really good for crowd control. They suffered in the early game, but they're definitely turning it around as we speak. And this is starting to become more than a little bit dangerous for Chili Mountain. It was a great start for them into the game, but now they have to somehow break that spell because all of the momentum is in favor of the red team. And they are not doing too well here. They're still trying to get those kills with Chromie poking from a distance, and Tyke is coming in. Talking about Tyke's coming in, he got kicked down to the bot lane. The fort is down in the middle of the map. You guessed it already, this one is not going to make it either. And the Fruit Fly is in the meantime trying to take down Falstad, which is also not really going to work out. Falstad also is sitting at 35 stacks, so he's slowly but steadily getting closer to get the quest reward and have an activated already. Can of course stack even further than that. 7-sided, yep, they're trying to isolate Backhold again. Jojo is in trouble. But they can't, well, Backhold could still fall here. The Stormbolt didn't hit. X-Ray at the bottom of the map is also about to go down, but so is Tychus. It's a kill for a kill. Mirrodin has to jump out. Falset is starting to come in. Zagara at the bottom of the map is rushing away as the explosion comes through. The fort is still there. Blessed Shield is on cooldown, can't be used for the engage. And now they can go for the next camp. But the lead is here now. The lead is there. They took the structures down. Every single fort has been eliminated on the side of Chili Mountain. They don't have a single one any longer. And only half a level is missing for crowd control until they have the level 20. So they are looking at a fantastic situation now to carry this into the late game. And take maybe a keep down. So they're going to try for that. Damage output. By now, Zagara is top damage on the team. Not quite in the game yet. Tychus is still sitting at 38,000 and therefore a little bit higher than her. But 37,000 is still pretty solid, especially considering the amount of siege damage that we're seeing from her too. Bot lane gets pressured even further. Level 20 is in. That gives us the Tyrant more. Seraphim. We got Transgression and a Rewind for Mirrodin. So the Dwarf is going to go for the double Stormbolt here. And that is kind of nasty. I mean, again, you got Pierce already, you got the cooldown reduction, so he can get a lot of CC out just himself. Or even go for a little bit of a double hop if he needs to go for an engage or maybe escape. But they are already looking to see if they can maybe go for Dark Chimera. Who's just dancing around a little bit, gets the vision, and Lauber doesn't try to close the gap. He would have had to commit to his rewind immediately to make it work. And I don't really think that you want to just waste it for that. Especially since you're not guaranteed to get the kill. Level 20 versus level 20. That gives us the big red button, so good for Tychus. And another... Oh, well, talking about good for Tychus. That's not good for Tychus. The second Stormbolt doesn't connect, though. But Falstad comes in. Seven-sided against Jojo. Blessed Shield out. Used very defensively here. The fight is still ongoing, and they're trying to put some pressure onto Macke. The quest is completed for the birdie, but Tainu has to hightail it out of there. There's still a pressure play through the top of the map because the Siege Giants, the Bruisers are currently going straight in for the wall. And I guess Johanna is going to try and deal with that. Falset has now moved in too, so he is in a position where he can start to take those down. One tower is gonna fall, the second one is still in play, but just barely. Down here, Mirrodin is coming in. They're trying to go in for the next play. Gia is getting attacked, and Gia's in trouble. He eats the Stormbolt, and that could be the end of Chromie. Brightwing comes in for the save. That was a good timeout too, but the Maw is up. The stun is there as Mirrodin connects another bolt, and now they want the death of Jojo. Cannot get her, but they can drag the Dragonite now. Dragonite is up for grabs, more or less. So if they move someone in the middle... Ooh, the wind tunnel again! If Mirrodin gets another angle on the Stormbolt, it would be great. But here with the activatable on the level 1, the kill against Tychus. Now Jojo is dead, and they're trying to push this even further. This is escalating quickly. Another more coming out. This one doesn't connect. 8 kills to 8 all of a sudden. They drew even. Mirrodin has 30 stacks. 30 stacks on the level 1 for Mirrodin. Yeah, he is doing some serious damage now to structures thanks to the sledgehammer setup on level 4. So that is not an easy one to stop. Yeah, with the Dwarf doing this much damage and the Dragonite, I mean, look how they are trying to burn the Dragonite down, and the bot lane doesn't give a shit. They're just moving in for it. They're just going for it. And wait for Mirrodin to hit another Stormbolt. Just like keep an eye on the core hit points whenever he hits that Stormbolt hard, because yeah, there. You see? Tons and tons of damage to the Stormbolt alone, and that is going to be game number 2. Chili Mountain, they looked so good in the early game, but again, crowd control with a 2-0 lead. They take the victory on Dragonshire as well, as we are heading into game number 3 of our Heroes of the Storm best of 5. Game number 3, let's get this party started. Chili Mountain needs to win 3 in a row if they want to decide the series in their favor. And I'm looking at this composition and I don't really know what the game plan is here. Because, well, let's get to this in just a second. So, Chimera is playing Brightwing for the blue team. We have Mako and Zagara here in Battlefield of Eternity, our third map. Right now, Gia on Hanzo, Darkmog on Rexa, and Berghult on Varian. On the right side of the map, we got the Quasar on Greymane, Lauber on Muradin, Ruzzo and Lucio, X-Ray on Imperius, and apparently Dino had a headache, was feeling a little bit sick, so Hebi is subbing in for him in Game 3, and he's playing Stukov. So we have a double support, actually, for Team Crowd Control. But I'm honestly a little bit more worried about what exactly the blue team is playing here, because generally speaking, you see Varian a lot these days in some nice comps where you're trying to get some burst damage in. You can play that either with a mage. We've seen a lot of plays with, I mean, even a 7-sided strike that you can set up. You can go for Chromie, you can go for Li Ming. There's plenty of others, burst damage around Greymane or whatnot. So there's a lot of tools that you can use. Hanzo and Zagara are not the two heroes that come to mind when we're talking about quick damage output that can drop a taunted target immediately. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, where's Tychus? Where is the bigger they are? Where is a Li Ming? Where's a Chromie? Where's like any hero that could really capitalize on a good taunt? And I just don't see it. So we have a bit of a composition that is a bit wild, and Zagara, I kind of like Zagara, and I would wish that she was a little bit stronger in the meta so that she could be played a bit more often and would see results. But we have seen Zagara, I want to say now 5-6 times over the last 2 months, and she lost every single game. So that's a bit of a problem. She won last game, that's the first one, but I feel that had very little to do with her necessarily. But again, we'll give that win. Outside of that, haven't really seen a whole lot, especially when you're going up against heroes like Muradin. They can jump on her, Greymane they can go for her. So I'm a little bit on the fence what this blue composition is supposed to do here. They have to play a really different style than what you normally have to do. And now that we have a double support on the side of Crowd Control, I am not certain what they can really pull off here. Time will tell, on the other hand. Crowd Control would of course love to set up another 2-0 victory. And they are already moving in for some good damage against Bergholt, who has to go through the Lurking Arm and has absolutely no chance. He was zoned out completely, they body blocked hard, and they were able to take the first kill of the game, as the blue team is at least trying to take at the top side their own camp now. But yeah, the rotation is already happening, and double support, I guess, is also simply being played because, as I mentioned, they're playing with the sub right now. Dino couldn't make it there. But they got a good damage against the Immortal. They can set it up with Sledgehammer later once that he gets some level 1 stacks. We have Greymane in here, who's great on this one too. They might not be able to just meet what the blue team has in terms of Immortal damage, but at least when it comes to the team fighting capabilities, I'd say that Crowd Control has everything they need. They got a lot of sustain. They have also, especially with Lucio, now someone that makes them a bit independent from how this is going to pan out. But yeah, just look how they're coming on Maki here. They come straight onto Zagara, get her on half HP, Brightwing moves in, they're still close to the tower, so they let it go for now. Didn't have a damage dealer there either, since the Quasar was still on the camp with Greymane. But I'm a bit afraid of what Maki can do in the mid and late game with Zagara, because I would assume that Greymane is going to rip her apart whenever there's a chance. I mean, either way, first objective is up, and there's already another jump coming in. Lauber is getting attacked this time. The Polymorph, of course, still a great tool for additional CC. But just look at Quasar. He's chunking this puppy down. And I'm still waiting for Hanzo to finally move towards the top and use his level 4 to get some damage in and of his own. But, well, he gets taken apart. Hanzo is dead. Now they're trying to go for Bergholt, and that's another kill. 3 kills to 0, and now freie Fahrt zum Mittelmeer. Immortal is open, they take it down, and that is a halftime show that they won with ease. And the only question that remains is, can Chili Mountain somehow gather and bring this back a little bit? And I guess I think they can do some damage to the Immortal. They can reduce the shield, but this is not really them making a play. This is them just trying to stop the bleeding a little bit and reduce the damage of all of this, which is in this situation probably what you have to do. So I'm not trying to call them out for that. There's no need to. But stopping the topside push is now going to be a bit rough since they don't have the level 7 talent yet. Greymane is going to be very good in this push. And here we go. That could be a fort, but even if it isn't, they should be able to do a fair amount of damage here. So time will tell. Push is coming in. Bergholt himself already starting to move back a little bit here. Yep, they're attempting to open this up as much as they can. And it's time to party. No level 7. Shield is down, granted. HP pool down to 50. still defending it. I don't think they can get that. Well, they might still be able to get the fort, but even if they don't, it's going to take some serious damage. The Immortal is doing some work. 50% of the HP gone. That's a bit of a win. Rexa is at the bottom of the map. Here's the taunt. But again, where's that burst damage that you need for it? Maybe later on you can follow up with that Hanzo arrow. Are they going to try and play Meme Strike maybe? Taunting into Meme Strike, is that the plan? But outside of Heroics, they definitely do not have enough damage to get some sustainable teamfight setup where they can get quick kills. So that's a huge problem. This draft, I don't know. This draft is a bit wild. Like, I don't know. I don't really see the cohesion there. And so far, it's not working out. But again, level 10 might change a couple of things. Honestly, they might just go for Meme Strike and taunt people into that and hope that the game goes to 20 and then can get the cooldown reduction instead of going for Hanzo's arrow. But time will tell. For now, we have Zagara at the bottom joining Rexa, trying to take the camp and push this out further. That allows crowd control to make a 4 versus 3 situation happen at the top side with the camp that they took. So an opportunity to maybe take the fort down too. But the longer they fight here, the more time the blue team has to do some damage at the bottom of the map, and that is not insignificant. So they could end up trading structures, which they don't really want to do. So, yeah. There's level 9 on both sides. Another taunt, but again, he doesn't give a shit. Like, he didn't care at all. So, that didn't do anything. They need level 10, I feel. And at the bottom of the map, Lucio is now coming too. That was a nice one. Good lockdown, and that could be the end. Ah, he makes it out, and Zagara is a victim of a small hit point pool and dies. Darkmog is also about to go down as they're rotating down for it, and that's a double kill. Yeah, that one hurt. That one really hurt. They were trying to get a kill and then they lose 2 heroes. Now it's 5 kills to 0. It's nearly level 10. And with that, we have go for the throat, which in this situation makes a whole lot more sense than the bullet, especially since you want to go for Zagara, for Hanzo, for Brightwing. There's so many targets where you can get resets and get even more momentum in the fight. Great setup for them. And another halftime show that they easily win simply because they are ahead in talents, ahead in control, and have gotten those kills. Now, level 10 is coming through for Chili Mountain, and that's really the moment that will tell us what the game plan here is. And we got them all. We got Hanzo with the arrow, he hits it, but, well, do they have the damage? That was the question from the get-go, and up to now, the answer has been no. And it doesn't seem like they do. They got a lot of poke, don't get me wrong. Hanzo's great for that. Zagara can also chip in as long as she's left alone. Problem is that crowd control is not going to leave her alone. Maka is going to be attacked by the wolf all the time. Yeah, Grayman hates cockroaches. The Nuburuks and Zagaras are all getting immediately taken down whenever he gets a chance, and his level 10 talent is already telling exactly that. Yeah, so for now, here comes the attack against Gia. He's also a bit in trouble, and yep, it's not really looking too good. Quasar gets attacked. And that's a kill against Hanzo, that's a kill against Zagara. They sacrificed the wolf for it, but that, of course, is not really good news. 7 kills to 1. Yeah, even the double spear here doesn't really help. Now Bakul gets attacked. Brightwing is helping as much as she can. 3 versus 3, but the only thing that you can see from Chili Mountain here is an attempt at damage control as they're trying to rush away. And with the body blocks, Varian is not going to get out anytime soon. He's dead. 8 kills to 1. Top side. They need to send someone here, or this fort is also going to fall. And of course, the Immortal is now going to get burned down very quickly by crowd control. They're just playing fantastic. They have the #1 spot in the rankings for a reason. They've been playing a fantastic season here. Even more impressive with the ping disadvantage that they have on the North American Heroes of the Storm server. But now, they of course want to crown all of those wins with another one, with another 3-0, so that they can take an easy one and don't really have to participate heavily in the playoffs, since there is a step-ladder system. So the higher up you are, the less games you have to play. And for them in particular, it's going to be fantastic, so they don't have to participate in any of that. Can just wait for the final bracket to be released and then do their thing. Yeah, this on the other hand might finally be a kill, but nope, not even that. The double support is immediately ready, helping Lauber out. He pops the avatar anyways, but of course the push at the bottom of the map has started up, and they're not even trying to defend. They know that they can't hold the fort. They're finally sitting here, but they gotta be careful now, because level 13 is about to hit. That's another advantage, and in we go. There's the push, boom. And they're pushing them past the fort. Take that down. An attempt to go for... Even the arrow being Yolala. Again, where's your damage, baby? Where's your damage? How do you think you can get the damage after Variant Taunt? I just don't see it. I said it right at the beginning when we saw the draft, and it's still an issue. They're doing what they can, I suppose, but right now it's just not working. They talked a little bit after the game and just generally too, and they just feel that they can't really, like, that this just doesn't work as a unit here. Either way, now we got Zagara heavily attacked again, barely kept alive. Maka gets some heals from Brightwing, but just look how this entire game is shaping up. It's a one-level lead, a bit more than that. Both of the forts are down. The keeps are already taking damage. Big spear. Nice. And the follow-up, it's there as well. There's the kill against Rexa. Varian is about to go down, and if he falls too, then they might be able to take down the keep itself. And with the minion wave already on the side, that should not be a problem at all. They are absolutely murdering here, as you can see. Great performance. Keep is gone. They can't go core just yet. It's too early in the game, but they have a 2-level advantage. It's just nuts. Damage output, 35,000 for Imperius. He currently holds the top damage in the game, actually. Actually, it's not quite true. It's Hanzo. It's Hanzo, by just a few points, but hell, counts. Still, Brightwing the only one that hasn't fallen yet. And yeah, it's rough. It's really tricky. It's rough for them. 1 kill to 10. 2-0 in maps. Things are not looking good. Level 13. That gives you, for at least some time, an even playing field against your opponent in team fights. So now that you are on the same talent tier, that's something that they might be able to exploit to get some kills in. So that's one of the few things where they could say, okay guys, let's make a play here. Let's try and get something done. Just collapse onto them, get a good taunt through, follow up with an arrow, get the damage in, drop the target, and then play a 4 versus 5 throughout the rest of the fight and gain some momentum. Maybe grab an Immortal and bring it back. But the longer they wait, the harder it's going to get, and well, crowd control isn't going to be super willing to give them a fight. Then again, they just taunted Imperius, but he simply pops his ult and he's fine. The double support is also helping him. And once that half level has been soaked, there's a level 16 talent advantage for crowd control. And the next Immortal is up already. Varian comes in again, they're trying to turn it against him. And Stukov is also waiting for a turnaround. He has his virulent reaction. He can see if there's maybe somebody that steps out a bit too far that he can punish. And they're already going straight in for the burn down here. Brightwing is up at the top. Halftime show is going to be won by crowd control again. Not by the bigger margin that they had in the earlier approaches, but still counts, matters. And in we go. 11 kills to 1 and nearly level 16. Okay, so that's the attack. They are defending, at least for now. 1 kill to 11. 26 stacks for Meridian. He's delivering a punch on the structures as well by now. Thanks to Sledgehammer, he's doing some work. Zagara, by the way, with the protective coating. Misha is down. Okay. And off we go. There we have the kill against Varian. He has to go down. Zagara is already dead. Varian follows. They're just getting one after another. Quasar is having a fun time here. Another boot back potentially. Darkmok. Ah, he gets out. That Immortal is not going to get away though. Blue Immortal would love to run away. Wouldn't that be awesome? Just imagine if, like, as an April's Fool's joke or something, the Immortals would start to run away when they're on 10% HP. That would be kind of fun. The thing about that happening for the first time, Immortal is just like, fuck that, I'm out of here. These guys are killing me, I'm running away. And then you have to chase it down. There's a new idea for you, Blizzard. That's an April's Fool's play right there. But yeah, anyways, at the bottom of the map, the Persia, thanks to the catapults and also the camp, Keep is obviously already down, so they just have to save it so that the catapults don't reach the core. The real issue is the top lane. And they're trying... Like, what? The infamous Varian Zagara attack? Are you kidding me? What are they going... Triple more. Nice. That could be a stun. That is a stun. But still, they're just collapsing onto them again. And bam! Zagara is down. Brightwing is dead too. And Misha is also eliminated. But yeah, now they go for backhold. That's another kill. There's no way he makes it out. He's gonna die eventually. 16 kills to 1. God, they're getting farmed. They are getting farmed. Crowd control is turning Heroes of the Storm into a farming simulator. And they are just totally obliterating them. They are going through the blue team like hot butter through cheese as they are coming in with another kill. This time against Rexa and against Hanzo. And that is the end of the top keep, and it will be the end of this series. That's the 3-0. Yes, Sagara and Brightwing are back, but there is just absolutely no way they save this. Well, they just killed Greymane, but I think the Immortal alone is going to eliminate that. Sagara is already on the run, so that ain't happening either. Make completes his quest. Quest completed. Time to feed, baby. Oh, yeah. And there we go. With a sub player in Game 3, crowd control loses nothing of their pizzazz. Comes in, takes the core, wins the game, wins the series, and decides the entire best of 5 in their favor, cementing their position as the #1 team in the CCL season.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.